Welcome to another video. Today I will be ranking every single classic Doctor Who story. This is over 26 seasons, so feel free to skip around the different eras if you want. And yeah, let's jump right in. First, Unearthly Child. I think this is still one of my favorites, top tens. Does a great job setting up everything. The Tribe of Gum, the Cave of Skulls with the fire, Waris Hussein, Verity Lambert, Sidney Newman, thank you, great job. The Daleks, it's cool to see this in color. It ages interestingly over the years. It has to go in at least good for what it did. And yeah, Skaro is just so atmospheric. And um, Edge of Destruction, it has some interesting ideas, interesting tone. A little bit scary when you first watch it in the right atmosphere. Okay or good, okay or good. I'll put it in good for now, yeah. Marco Polo, I need to finish watching this one. This is now my most anticipated, most wanted classic Doctor Who's reconstruction. I've only seen part one. It's really interesting. It's like 6 parts or 7 parts or something. But yeah, I want. Before my most sought after missing story was Abominable Snowman. But now that we have that, now it's this one. Keys of Marinus, such a good idea. Fun run around, discombobulated a little bit, still good. Aztecs. Aztecs is just a pretty great Doctor Who story. Like has a little bit of history, education, has stakes, has some humor. It gives you everything you need. It just gets better after like all these rewatches over the years. Sensorites. This was one of my first Doctor Who DVDs. It's just an okay story. I haven't finished watching it in like 15 years after a first viewing. I'm gonna go with just okay because I don't mind it that much. Reign of Terror. I have not seen this. Planet of Giants. Planet of Giants is pretty okay. Like the part where they're in the sink. Um, yeah, a bit forgettable. I'll put it in okay. The Dalek invasion of Earth. Yeah. At some points in life, I thought this was boring, but the scene where they have like the Dalek, I think it's a bit overrated overall, but like the scene where they have the Dalek, like at the end, they have the civilians have the Dalek over their heads and throw it away. That part made me laugh out loud when I first watched it. It's solid realistically. Um, yeah, not super my type of story, but I can respect why people love it. The Rescue. This is a good story. A good. Is this? It's the mid. It's like it feels like a season opener, but it's not. I almost want to put it in awesome, but it is just a simple two-parter. Definitely good. Enjoyable. Romans is one of my favorite. Probably my favorite first Doctor story. I love the humor. Really appreciated it like 8 years ago. I would absolutely put it in my top 10. 8 years ago, not sure anymore, but like I feel like I want at least like 15 to 20 classic stories up here in classic. Yeah. Web Planet, a bit cheesy. Um, is it bad? I don't hate it. Yeah. Some very memorable moments. I talked about it in my cliffhanger video. The Crusades. Did I watch this? I don't think I watched this. These two missing episodes. I think they are animated at this point, but I haven't watched them. The Space Museum is good. I think it's a typical good sci-fi plot for Doctor Who. The Chase is also one of my favorites. Do I put it in classic? I wasn't expecting three Hartnell classics. Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love what it does. I think my favorite part is the haunted house one with the clone first Doctor. No, it has to be the part with the Daleks and the mechanoids. I almost forgot the monster's name. Mechanoids. I haven't thought about the mechanoids in a minute. Time Meddler, I've wanted to like this story. It serves as a good sleeping pill over the years. I've seen it several times, trying to appreciate it. I'm gonna put it in just okay, honestly. But does it deserve to be so close to the Sensorites? Yeah. Galaxy 4, I have not seen. I know it's animated at this point. Mythmakers, I don't know much about it. What's this one? Mission to the Unknown and the Daleks Master Plan. I have read about it and listened to it, listened to reviews of it over time. I know about what it offers, but I have to put it here. I haven't watched the whole thing. Just like the Merry Christmas and that type of iconic parts and the Brigadiers in it. The Massacre of St. Bartholomew. I remember listening to the part where the doctor's like, perhaps I must go back home. Susan's gone, Barbara and Ian are gone, but I can't go back home. Haven't not don't know much about it, so I have to put it in there. The Ark is a good story. Good story. I think it's based on. Isn't it based on an H.G. Wells book? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's based on some author, right? Almost awesome. Almost awesome. Celestial Toymaker, just based on the one existing part that exists. It's a okay, interesting story. Gunfighters. Gunfighters is good. Last Chance Saloon is memorable. It's cool to see Doctor Who trying the Wild West type of story. It feels the stakes are buyable, and it has some humor towards it for sure. Savages, sorry, is what it's called. Don't know much about it. It's missing. The War Machines. This is a solid one to remember. Fun story. Yeah. A good one. Don't know much about the Smugglers. Missing. 10th Planet. I think it's just okay. Was never too huge of a fan of the story. I can see why people love it. Power of the Daleks, I think is just good. I think is a bit overhyped. I remember before the animation came out and I tried to listen to the audio. It really built like on your imagination. So yeah, animation kind of ruins it a little bit for me, honestly. The Highlanders, don't know much about it other than the surviving footage. Um, Underwater Menace. Yeah, when I watched this for the first time, like over 5 years ago, when the DVD came out, like 7 years ago or something, I was decently surprised. Some aspects of it reminded me of. It reminded me of some other 60s story that I can't remember, but I think it reminded me a little bit of the Romans, a little bit, the sense of community that there was. I don't mind Underwater Menace. I would watch it again, yeah. Um, the Moonbase, one of my favorite Second Doctor stories to rewatch over the years. I'm gonna have to put it in classic. I love the idea of the gravitron, moon, weather control, and a great Cyberman story. I'm glad 10th Planet exists so that this could run. You know what I mean? Macra Terror. This animation surprised me. It was great. It was kind of awesome, if a bit forgettable after a couple of rewatches. But it was the sci-fi that delivered that it needed to be. Macra Terror was good. Same with Faceless Ones. I'm not sure which one I like more. No, Macra Terror is a little bit more scary, a little bit more psychological, but Faceless Ones also really delivers on the sci-fi front, the animated version. And then Evil of the Daleks, once again, I recently watched this animation for the first time this year, a few months ago. I would rewatch it again. Is it awesome or is it good? I really like it, and I would watch it again. I want to put it in awesome, yeah. Surprising. Didn't know much about it before. Tomb of the Cybermen gets a little bit overrated for me over the years. At one point, I remember when I was like 13, 12, 14, it was like my favorite, one of my favorites. It's like a nice base under siege monster. Not base under siege. Is it base under siege? Kind of. But a monster type movie. Like a monster coming out of the tombs of the dead back to life and an expedition. Do I put it in okay or good? I'm gonna put it in good. I can't put it in okay, just for the legacy. And Abominable Snowman, based on the existing Lost in Time the parts that existed, I think just part two, right, or something like that. I really wanted to watch the animated version, and the animated version delivered. Is very fun and interesting concepts like levitation and stuff. The Ice Warriors. I love this story. I first watched it during a phase in life where I was feeling kind of stuck, and so I appreciated it a lot. And I can't imagine rewatching this story in a time in life when I'm doing really good and seeing how it holds up. Is it awesome or is it just good? I really like its ideas. Like, it has like a computer that can dispense any element, and for 1960s, that's a very innovative idea, I would say. Enemy of the World, I really appreciated watching this when it came out on DVD like 7, 8 years ago. I can see why people think it's overrated. Like watching it a second time is not as good, but it's been like several years, like over 5, 6 years since I've rewatched it. It's definitely good. Good to see Patrick Troughton in a he's a character actor. He's able to play a villain, and he can do that. Um, yeah, the first Doctor faced duplicate of himself in the chase. Second Doctor did here. It's cool. Web of Fear. I started appreciating this more. On first watch I thought it was just okay. Second rewatch I was like, yeah, I really get why people love the atmosphere that it's building. Fury from the Deep again. Trying to listen to the animation or the original audio is way more imaginative and builds more. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but people like YouTubers like Stu Babful talk highly of it. And yeah, the animation did not really deliver that much for me. I did like how parts of it reminded me of Inferno. Bit forgettable, the animation. Just okay. Just alright. I'll leave it in good. Yeah. Wheel in Space. I don't remember that much about this. It's Zoe's first one. The Cybermen look okay. Is this the first one where the Cybermen have like the teardrop design? I think. I've got to rewatch this. I want to put it in okay, but I don't remember much about it. Yeah. Dominators. Did Robert Holmes write Dominators or the Crotons? No, the Dominators is the one that deals with nuclear, has a theme about like nuclear explosions. I didn't mind it the first time I watched it. I thought it was kind of cheesy. It's just okay. Yeah. The Mind Robber. This was the first classic Doctor Who story I ever watched in full length. It set an unfair standard. If anything, like over the years of rewatching it, it has gotten a little bit overrated. It doesn't retain the same magic after rewatching it up until age 24 from age 10. However, I can't fault it for that. I'm not going to fault it because the magic from when I first watched it at age 10 is still there. The Invasion, I can see why people like this one a little bit more than Mind Robber. I can see why. It's very fun to watch. Great settings, very kind of eerie, and great sense of teamwork with unit. Just a fun run around. Builds good atmosphere too. The Crotons, it's a little weird, a little rough. Interesting sci-fi colony idea. It's just okay. I feel like I enjoyed the Dominators a little bit more. I haven't rewatched Crotons in like 7, 8 years. Seeds of Death. Yes. Do I want to put it in classic, but rewatching it over the years again isn't as impactful. But that shouldn't deteriorate from it. I've had several fun times watching it in the past 10, 8, 15, 14 years. Just I guess Patrick Troughton not being in one part and maybe it feels a bit padded in some parts knocks it down to awesome. I respect the story a lot. Fuck it, I'm leaving it in classic, man. It's worth it. Space Pirates, yeah. Fun fact: Patrick Troughton said that this was his favorite story. Crazy. I didn't watch it. War Games. I still need to finish watching War Games in color. So cool. I can't sit here and call War Games overrated. When you sit through the whole thing, like you really appreciate its tension building. Its ending is iconic. And the edits got me hyped when that came out. I don't love it after all this time as much as these others. I personally want to put it in good, personally. Spearhead. Spearhead is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Yup. The Silurians. Some aspects of Silurians is almost just as entertaining as other seven-parters like Ambassadors of Death, you know what I mean? Fun ideas, a bit cheesy, but works for a seven-parter the couple of 2, 3 times that I've revisited it. Yeah, and I think this was the first Doctor Who story that I watched the behind-the-scenes documentary for. I think because it was one of the first missing stories that was discovered, right? And it wasn't it discovered in Chicago. That's pretty cool. Ambassadors of Death is great. Is great. I haven't rewatched it in like 7 years, but it was awesome. Do I put it in classic? It's an interesting story. Pacing is pretty interesting. Fun action. It was fun rewatching. I kind of want to put it in classic, but I haven't rewatched it as much. Maybe a couple of times I've rewatched it. I'll put it in awesome for now. Inferno, I used to rewatch this almost pretty much every year. I think I rewatched parts of it this year, pretty much since I was 13, 14, since I was in ninth grade. Loved it. Loved the matureness of the storytelling, parallel realities. So Third Doctor is a boss here. Um, Terror of the Autons is so much fun. I'm tempted to put it in classic, but obviously, if you rewatch it, there's going to be faults with it. But you can just appreciate it for just being the fun story that it is. Introduction of the Master. Doctor likes to be childish a little bit. Yeah, screw it. I'm putting it in awesome. Mind of Evil was one of my favorites. It was my first review video on this channel. Yeah. Great genre bending. Claws of Axos is good. I like it. I think there was a time where I thought it was kind of bad. It maybe feels a little bit padded and exposition-y, but some very memorable moments and fun to watch at times. Colony in Space, there was a time where I had fun kind of watching it. I guess it is a bit boring in some aspects. I kind of respect some things about the story. Do I call it good? It's just okay. Kind of want to put it in rewatch because I do think about it a little bit frequently compared to these other ones. The Demons. John Pertwee said this was his favorite story to make. It's good. It's at least good. Yeah, I don't have problems with it. But I kind of agree when people say it's a bit overrated. But it works. It works as like a horror movie. It's interesting for its horror elements. Day of the Daleks, I personally, guys, I think it, after several rewatches over the years, personally, I think it's a bit overrated. I prefer something like Frontier in Space. Interesting war story, interesting stuff with the other unit characters. It's at least okay. Yeah. I do like the special edition updated effects. Curse of Peladon is solid. I need to rewatch it. It's been like 6, 7, 8 years. It's good. Sea Devils. I used to think this story was kind of bad the first time I watched it. It builds interesting atmosphere. It has some problems with its story for sure. I'm gonna put it in okay. I can see why people love it. I can see why people dislike it. The Mutants. I like this story. Interesting topics about weather control, it's changing seasons, some very dated special effects, but the stuff in the cave can be very entertaining. I don't hate the Mutants at all. It's solid to me. And then Time Monster. Again, similar to first time I watched like Terror of the Autons. Like you find some things about it mildly entertaining, inoffensive. Like the weird mechanism that the Doctor invents. It's kind of forgettable. And then him talking about his Gallifrey memories. The episode as a whole, if you think about it, is a mess. And has a bad reputation. But no, I'm not going to fault it for that. I kind of want to rewatch it after talking about it. Three Doctors, I think, belongs in classic. You can pick faults at the story, definitely, after all these rewatches, but I used to hold it up to the standard of Spearhead in that high regard at a certain point. It's just so much fun and very celebrative. Great to see Pertwee back, great dynamic with Joe, and great dynamic with the side characters, Benton and Brigadier and Omega. Great. I love Carnival of Monsters. Terrence Dicks takes a fossilized setting from a fossilized time, really strings you along. Awesome story. I love Carnival of Monsters. Frontier in Space, I like. Feels a bit bleak on rewatch last time I rewatched it. Good story, though. Yeah. Planet of the Daleks I've just appreciated more over the years after this one reviewer, Alan Claylaw, said that it was his favorite. And yeah, I can see why it impressed fans at the time. Some fans, if you were a fan at the time. The Supreme, is it the Supreme Dalek or Emperor Dalek? That's potentially my favorite Dalek design. I wish I had that action figure of the Emperor Dalek or Supreme Dalek, not sure which one. Nice story. Courageous. Green Death. I kind of want to throw it in classic, you know? Like earlier, like in recent years, there were times where I thought it was a bit overrated. I'm pretty sure this was my first. Yeah, this was my first John Pertwee story. I think that I saw in one of my first. Can't remember, but it was a very memorable first time watching. I was in sixth grade. It was like a Thursday or something night, and we had a field trip to the zoo the next day. So I'll never forget that experience. So for that nostalgia, fuck any like problems with the story if it's too political, whatever. It delivers, man. It delivered. Interesting bad guy, interesting world building, interesting cheesy monster. But for a 10-year-old me, it was so cool to see. I'm happy to put it in classic. Yes, now, look. I wanted at least like 15 to 20 stories in classic. How many do we have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Great. I'm glad that I'm appreciating. Time Warrior. Do I throw it in classic? Again, when I first watched it, I loved it. On multiple rewatches, you can pick faults with it, whatever, that it's not as impactful, but it does so many things so well. The reveal of Gallifrey, Sarah Jane Smith, the Sontarans, the setting is so gripping at times, at different times watching it. Definitely at least awesome. I'm talking highly of it, but I didn't appreciate it as much as other fans. It is one of the potentially top 10 Third Doctor stories still for me, without argument. Yeah, it's a great story. At least awesome, yeah. Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Did not like it the first time I watched it. Over the years, I respect some things about it. Decent acting, decently entertaining. It's good. I like it. Death to the Daleks. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I find it kind of boring. Yeah, I can see why people like it. I think it's just okay. Monster, nothing in Bad and Terrible so far. Wow, Monster of Peladon is boring. I don't remember it that well. Uh, I was watching a Stu Bagful video. Oh yeah, he was the one where he was interviewing Robert Sherman, and he was Robert Sherwin, and he was talking about how the writer of Monster of Peladon is apparently the same monster of one of the last Second Doctor stories. I believe the Dominators, possibly. Is it the same author? That's what he was saying. He's like, the same guy who wrote the Dominators, the same guy who wrote Monster of Peladon, the second to last story for two of the Doctors. And it's like, those two stories were so bad that the Doctor quit in the next story. That's freaking hilarious. Imagine having that legacy. Planet of Spiders is solid, if a bit cheesy. Would rewatch after a few years. All Hail the Great One. Impactful stuff. Haven't rewatched in like 7-8 years. Robot. For what it is, it's decent. Obviously, the show gets a lot more in depth, a lot more better. For what it is, haven't rewatched it again 6, 7, 8 years. Solid for what it is. Kind of feel like I want to put it in okay for how kind of simple the plot is. Honestly, I'd put it in okay, honestly. It's watchable. It's good, easy watch. Ark in Space was... I feel like that was my first Fourth Doctor story, it might have been. And I didn't like it as much as other people. Because I feel like for a 10-year-old me, and being so used to New Who at the time, the effects felt kind of dated and a bit slow. I appreciate it for what it is. But for a personal opinion, I'm going to put it in just okay. Russell T. Davis and Peter Capaldi have talked very highly of this story. The Sontaran Experiment was one of the last Doctor Who stories I needed to watch, bar these, aside from these missing ones. It was one of the last stories I had to watch all of them, and it was entertaining. The Fourth Doctor gets his hair pulled. Interesting setting. It's solid. It's solid for a two-parter. Genesis of the Daleks. I'm not gonna sit here and call it overrated. When last time, the first couple of times that I watched this in full length, it really reinvigorated something within me. It made me want to watch more classic stories. It made me want to binge watch, rewatch more Dalek stories. So forget that it's too on the nose about its Nazi World War II allegories. Forget that. Think about the impact. Iambic pentameter. Do I have the right? So memorable. Revenge of the Cybermen. The cheesiness has made it for me okay, somewhat watchable. I don't hate it like I did when I was a kid. Um, Terror of the Zygons. Yes, one of my definitely goes in top 10 Fourth Doctor's stories for me. Kind of creepy, kind of scary, good tension. Does it go in class? It might have to go in classic. Let's do it. Yeah. Planet of Evil. You know what? This I don't like it that much, guys. I don't like Planet of Evil that much. It goes without saying that the setting looks absolutely amazing. I think it's just typical. I think it's kind of boring. I'm gonna leave it in bad. Pyramids of Mars. Again, I don't want to call it underrated. One of my first Tom Baker stories. It does so much for the classic series, for the show. I have to put it in at least good. Again, just like Mind of Evil and stuff like that, rewatching it over the years, it becomes less impactful. You can see why people think it's overrated. I'm going to leave it there. Androids Invasion. I would put it in bad if this was like a year ago, but last couple times I rewatched it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tension building. I think what I didn't like about it before is that it's almost a Brigadier story. Like Brigadier could have been there in the story, like he was like could have been right around the corner. But I think Benton was in it, yeah. And part four was a letdown though for the story, but decent for the first three parts. It was decent tension building. Brain of Morbius. I'm not gonna call it overrated. Two, three times that I watched it, very entertaining. Decently entertaining. It's good. Seeds of Death is good. I don't love it as much as other fans, but there's moments of it that really work. Pacing is solid. Some points of it I have pacing issues with, but it's a fun, actiony stuff. Mask of Mandragora. Interesting plot. A little bit alluding to secret societies, almost a little bit. Um, it's good. It's solid. Yeah, a bit forgettable, but yeah. Hand of Fear is good. Hand of Fear is good. I like it. No complaints. Um, Fun sci-fi. Yeah. No complaints. Deadly Assassins does not get overrated. Maybe. No, yeah, it goes in absolute classic. Doesn't personally go in my top 10 personal favorites anymore, but is a solidified banger for sure. Great suspense. The depiction of Gallifrey is on point, spot on. Almost kind of a perfect story if you think about it. Face of Evil, I love Face of Evil. Has to go in awesome. Computers, Leela, A Tribe. Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome sci-fi. Robots of Death. At times I find it a little bit overrated. Definitely good. Good mystery. Talons of Wang Chiang. Heck yes. Heck yes. Still goes in my top 10 classic favorites. Um, like like there was a time like 7 years ago back when I was in 12th grade high school, I wouldn't like hang out that much with friends. Only hung out with friends like a handful of times in 12th grade. I just want to sit and rewatch classic Doctor Who like Talents. There was one weekend, it felt like prom weekend or the weekend before prom. It was super rainy that weekend, and I had a super fun time watching Talents. It's one of my core memories. And Horror of Fangrock also goes into my top 10 all-time favorites. No complaints. An example of a story I didn't like that much the first time I watched it. Then there were years where I was so hooked and so immersed. And I think what did it for me was the mystery behind it, like the Max Headroom incident, but not just that, because that has nothing to do with the story itself. It builds atmosphere, it builds tension amazingly. It's top five. I want to talk more in depth about it at some point. Because, yeah, Invisible Enemy. Graham Williams era, I can see why it might be my favorite era of the classic series, and I can see why other people consider it the favorite of the classic. The story's okay. It has some interesting ideas. A bit cheesy. Invisible Enemy. I like Image of the Fendel. Kind of scientific. Interesting ideas like astral projection. Yeah, it's a solid one. Good one. Sunmakers is great. Is great. It's kind of awesome. Interesting ideas about an uprising. So much fun to watch, pretty much. Almost a classic. I'm going to put it in classic. It's a good story. It's a great story for what it is. Yeah. Underworld, I did not finish watching. I was bored with it. I love Invasion of Time. I think I have to put it in classic. I love what it offers. Gallifreyans, lore building. Yeah, heck yes. It has its problems, but whatever. Had so much fun the times I rewatched it. Ribos Operation. I love this story. It's so funny. If I was British and if I was my age when this came out and I watched it, I think I would love it way more. But I'm not the audience for it, being from the 2000s kid, being a 2000s kid. It's great. I appreciate its storytelling. Yeah. Pirate Planet is one of my favorites of the. It's becoming my favorite Fourth Doctor story. Douglas Adams. I love the world building. The loud antagonist. I'm forgetting his name. Yeah. Stones of Blood. This is a good story. Summoning things. Yeah. And the doctor in a wig, like, and that weird special effect towards the end of the court sort of thing. Yeah, it's quite awesome. I have to rewatch this. It's only been like 3 years, but I want to rewatch it now. I love Androids of Tara. I just rewatched it a few months ago. Such fun costumes, fun setting, decently paced story. I kind of want to put it in classic because I had so much fun the last time I watched it. Power of Kroll is okay. It's just okay. I think it's kind of stupid. I've heard people like it. I disagree. Armageddon Factor, a bit forgettable. Decent season finale. It has some interesting ideas. Pretty sci-fi. Very sci-fi. I think it's pretty solid. It's a bit slow. Yeah, it's solid, yeah. Destiny of the Daleks is solid. It has a humor towards it. I didn't really appreciate what it was going for first couple of times I watched it. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's awesome. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna put it in awesome. Yeah. City of Death was my favorite Doctor Who story for the long time. Uh, does it beat Spearhead? Yeah, it definitely goes in classic. Yep. Um, Paintings, history, pure sci-fi, pure Doctor Who at its finest. Doctor Who's finest hour. Creature from the Pit is so much fun. This is such a fun Fourth Doctor story to watch. Are you kidding me? Same type of memory as Talons watching this in 12th grade on fun days. Uh, Nightmare of Eden is okay. Is okay. Rewatched it a couple of times. Don't really need to watch it again. Horns of Nimon is such a fun. If I made it a drinking game, I would be trashed. I laugh out loud at this. It's coming right for us. Weakling scum. I'm gonna put it in good. It has a way with it. It's really stupid, but it's fun to watch, and I'm glad I've had fun watching it. Leisure Hive is kind of boring. It's an okay plot, some enjoyable moments. Begloss, this is the one where Barbara comes back. This was also one of the last Doctor Who stories I needed to watch before I watched all Doctor Who stories, besides these missing ones. It's good. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Full circle. I wouldn't agree if people said that this was their favorite part of the E-Space trilogy. Very forgettable. I only remember like one scene from it. Those like sort of swamp-looking type of monsters. I don't remember much about it at all. I love State of Decay. I love State of Decay. Might have to go in my top 10. Sort of vampiric. Very interesting plot twist. Interesting setting. Love it. Warriors Gate is good. Interesting ideas, if a bit slow at points, but I remember enjoying what it was going for. I like Keeper of Track, and I can see why people don't like it. It has so much going on for the story, you know what I mean? And Nissa, you know what I mean? Like I said in my last video, I think the Doctor should be traveling with more alien characters. I think the story offers a lot of different reveals to be had. I can't remember if the Master gets revealed in part one or at the end of part one or part two. Yeah, I remember enjoying it the couple of times I watched it. I love Logopolis. I love aspects of it. Fun to watch. Um, it was also one of the first behind the scenes document. It's a really good behind the scenes documentary of Tom Baker's like final years and decision to leave up at this point. Castrovalva, for what it is solid. Top of okay or just bottom of good. For what it is, it's pretty solid. Fuck it. Just to be nice, I'll put it in end of good. Ford of Doomsday has interesting ideas, but it feels a bit weird. It feels like a chore to watch. Top of okay. Interesting ideas, yeah. Kinda, I saw someone say that they think Kinda is kind of bad, and I was too afraid to kind of say that Kinda is bad because I've seen so many people say that they love it. But yeah, I don't think that much of Kinda. It feels like a chore to watch. I prefer Snake Dance. I love Snake Dance way more. The Visitation. I always thought this one was just okay. Some aspects of it are good. I always thought it was just okay. Black Orchid is great. Is great. I want to put it in awesome. Yeah, good mystery, satisfying mystery story. Earthshock. I don't love personally don't love Earthshock as much as most fans that are passionate about it, but it's a solid story. And the times that I've watched it, I used to think like if this was done in modern Doctor Who, it would be so much better. This is one of the only stories I would say that about because modern Doctor Who has updated effects, better pacing. Earthshock is definitely good. Time Flight I don't like. I didn't finish this story. Um, I'm gonna put it between bad and have to rewatch. I hate it more than, from what I saw, I dislike it more than Warriors of the Deep. Arc of Infinite. Is it worth watching Time Flight? Let me know. Is it worth finishing? Arc of Infinity is very disappointing. Could have been better. Um, yeah, I guess the sixth Doctor, future sixth Doctor being in it was the most interesting part, most well done part. Then it's just kind of running around. Love Snake Dance. I love the dialogue. I love the ancient Egypt mythology influence. It just has such a vibe towards it. Snake Dance. I'm glad I feel that way about a Fifth Doctor story so far. Modern Undead, I'm glad that I appreciate over time. I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I thought it felt slow. I loved the inclusion of the Brigadier, but I didn't like Turlo for several first few years of knowing his character. The the fake the alien Time Lords that are pretending to be the Doctor is trying to steal his remaining regenerations. Like it's very sci-fi, but wasn't that impactful. Yeah, it's just good. Let's put it at the bottom of better than Castrovalva, better than I like it better than Android. Do I like it better than Genesis? About equal to Genesis. Yeah, we'll keep it there. Power of Daleks has to go down. Anything else has to go down? Nah, maybe Web of Fear a little bit. Personally. Yeah. Alright, let's continue. Terminus. I'm so glad I appreciate this story more on rewatch. It's such like almost cyberpunk, space punk type of sci-fi and interesting dialogue. I had such a fun time watching this. I almost have to throw it in awesome. There was a time when I disliked it, and I'm so glad there's a time now when I rewatched it last year and I had so much fun. Hell yes. Enlightenment. This story is like unlike feels unlike any classic story I've seen. It's a big thing to say for a classic story. It's cool. It's good. It's a bit weird. A bit slow in some parts. Yeah, I'll put it there. Very interesting. King's Demon. I feel like I have to rewatch it because I've only seen it like once. It's okay. Five Doctors. I kind of want to put it in classic, you know. It's feels like an episode of Dungeons and Dragons. Just all these awesome elements that fit together. Five Doctors versus Three Doctors. Now that's a big question, big debate. I can't even decide off the top of my head. I'll have to take some time to think about that. Warriors of the Deep did not offend me. It's nothing great. It was okay. Yeah. The Awakening, forgettable. It tried to be historical. Some interesting moments, but very forgettable. Bottom of okay. Have to rewatch it at some point. Frontios I like. Very interesting parts. How it builds tension. Good settings. It's good. Resurrection of the Daleks. I was not a fan of this one each time that I watched it personally. I can see why people appreciate it for its action. I don't like it that much. I don't like it that much. Just for nostalgia and the vibe that it goes for, I'm going to put it in okay. Planet of Fire is good. It's almost awesome. Screw it. I'm going to put it in the bottom of awesome. I like what it's going for. The Master, Perry, Turlo, good performances all around. Caves of Androzani, amazing. Does it go in classic for me? I don't love it as much as other people rate it so highly. The dragon costume is probably the worst part about it. It makes it dated, but the Fifth Doctor gets to show off how heroic he is. Interesting message about drug war. Interesting tension. You get why it's a classic. Yeah. Definitely belongs there. Twin Dilemma. I'm not sure if I said before in my previous videos, but what? No, it's not classic. One of my core memories is again after like it was like 6th grade after school, watching Caves of Androzani for the first time, and then watching Twin Dilemma right after. Watching Caves of Androzani and Twin Dilemma for the first time back to back when I was 10 years old in 6th grade. That was a core memory because you get one of the best Doctor Who stories to one of the worst Doctor Who stories. Such a classic memory for me. So I'll never forget that. I love Attack of the Cybermen. I almost forgot about this story. I haven't thought about it in a minute. You don't want to think about it too much because you don't want to pick apart its flaws. But I love it. I love it. It's tense, builds its story, great settings, interesting settings, and good dialogue, good reveal that the Time Lords are trying to use the Doctor to help fix it. The Cryons, that's their name. Cryons are an interesting ass villain. I'm glad this story is there. I freaking love Vengeance on Varos. One of my top 5 favorite classic stories. It's about a prison planet. It has themes of media control and media brainwashing in a dystopian future. Wow, such a great pacing, great performances, very theatrical, classic prime Doctor Who. Mark of the Rani is great. Rani has like trying to genetically modify like animal human type hybrids, like extracting like intelligence from them. Interesting type of mystery reveal and historical almost. I like the two doctors. I like the two doctors. Some parts can feel padded, but when you're in the mood to watch it, it delivers. It really delivers. It's awesome. Um, Oh my god, I've been talking about for the past few years how much I love Time Lash. People say it's a bad story. Um, it has interesting colony. It has interesting lore. It brings in H.G. Wells. Has themes of astral projection. Has interesting setting, and it has the Borad, which is a very interesting villain. I like Time Lash. I don't want to rewatch it. That I rewatched it like 6 times in the past in a span of 2 years, from 2022 to 23 to 24, and I don't need to rewatch it again because it'll remind me of its flaws. Let me sit in how awesome I think about it, its story elements. Revelation is great for what it is. I like some of the actiony stuff towards the end is my favorite part. Very memorable scenery and stuff. Yeah. Trial of the Time Lord Part 1, The Mysterious Planet. Solid. It's a solid entry. Dis, Interesting. I don't want to use that word so often. Feel like I use that word a lot. I was never a huge fan of Mind Warp. I'm gonna put it in okay. Some weird elements of it I appreciate. Uh, uh, what's this? Terror of the Vervoids. Some aspects of it remind me of Robots of Death. Bit forgettable. Gonna put it in bottom of good. Terror of Vervoids. I appreciated it in different rewatches. Interesting sci-fi elements. Ultimate Foe is a good story, good two-parter. Just rewatched it a few months ago, less than a couple months ago. It's solid, better than Mysterious Planet. Um, Time in the Rani, yeah, yeah. Let's just leave it there. All right, Seventh Doctor era. Wow, Paradise Towers. I like this story. I like this story. Um, it's definitely awesome. I've had some fun a couple of times watching it. Yeah. Delta and the Bannerman. I don't mind this story. It's not that good. I don't hate it. A little bit weird. I loved the seventh. I don't love it as much in the past couple of years because I haven't been rewatching it. I used to love it 7, 8 years ago, the Seventh Doctor era. So it is still pretty much my favorite era. Yeah. Just rewatched Dragonfire a few months ago for like the fourth, fifth time. I've always liked Dragonfire. I don't know if I could argue that it's underrated. It's just an alright story. Interesting, like monster, like computerized thing with like its brain popping out, and the face melting, and then the setting up of Ace, and then Glitz and Mel. Such a fun story. I'm leaving it in awesome. I don't care. Remembrance of the Daleks. Man, there was a time when this was my favorite story. Not my favorite Seventh Doctor story anymore. Still a classic. Does everything so well. Sylvester McCoy said that this was his favorite story. Happiness Patrol. Great. Great stuff. Great stuff. Happiness and sadness. Happiness can't exist without sadness side by side. Great message. Yeah. Great setting. Worked for Doctor Who. It really worked for what it was going for. I like Silver Nemesis. The times that I've rewatched it, it has interesting lore, has interesting action. People seem to call this one a bad story. It's solid. Putting it in good. All right. The greatest show in the galaxy has to go in classic. Again, I could say rewatching it after all these years kind of ruins it a little bit, but no, I can't let it ruin that. Great story, self aware. Yeah. Battlefield. I saw someone recently say that this was a bad story. No, it's not. Very good story. It's almost awesome. It's kind of awesome. I've had some fun times watching it. Interesting mythology. I want to put it in bottom of awesome, top of good. Maybe because Ace is a little bit rude towards the Brigadier. uh, but some fun tension moments that were memorable. I'm gonna put it in bottom of awesome. Ghostlight. Heck yes, I talked about it a couple of months ago in a review video a little bit. I love in my cliffhangers video. I love Ghostlight. Curse of Fenric. I love Survival. I used to love. There's times when I still appreciate it, but wouldn't rewatch it again for a few years. But the times I appreciate it, it goes there. And last but not least, the TV movie. Love the tension, love the TARDIS interior. I can see why it didn't get picked up for the 90s leading into the 2000s. Glad it exists. Where does it belong? Somewhere in the middle here. Alright, guys, that was the rankings. Let's see real quick if there's any rearranging that needs to be done. Do you guys like my list? Do you guys agree with this list? Time Flight is the only terrible one. Only 3 bad episodes. Not too shabby. Alright, guys, that is my definitive ranking here. Thank you guys for watching if you watched the whole thing. Alright, see you next time.